John Krasinski's foray into family-friendly cinema, If, attempts to capture the magic of childhood imagination, but stumbles in its execution. At first glance, If bears a striking resemblance to the beloved cartoon Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Both feature a world where imaginary friends exist, and even share a main character named Blue. While it's important to note that similar concepts often emerge independently in media, this parallel is impossible to ignore. However, we're not accusing Krasinski of copying, it's the execution that counts. Krasinski's involvement piqued interest, given his impressive directorial debut with A Quiet Place. The shift from horror to whimsical family adventure showcased his ambition to diversify his portfolio. It's quite a leap, and many were curious to see if he could stick the landing. So, how did If fare? There are definitely strong points, but also some aspects that hold it back from being great. Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Let's dive in and see where this whimsical adventure takes us. The cast stands out as one of the film's strengths. Cailey Fleming delivers a strong performance as the young protagonist, establishing a believable and emotional connection with the audience from the outset. Ryan Reynolds' signature comedic timing is also on display, though some viewers might find the humor hit or miss. If excels in tapping into nostalgia, exploring the bittersweet transition from childhood innocence to the complexities of growing up. Even if you didn't have an imaginary friend growing up, the movie taps into that childhood wonder and innocence we all remember. It explores the bittersweet transition from the simplicity of youth to the harsher realities of growing up. When the film leans into these themes, it can be genuinely touching. Visually, there are some beautiful and whimsical moments, particularly when we visit the retirement home for imaginary friends. This scene really energizes the movie, showcasing the potential of the concept. Paired with an emotive score, these scenes have the potential to tug at your heartstrings. While it didn't quite get me misty-eyed, I can see how it might affect others more strongly. Now let's talk about where If stumbles. One of the biggest issues is how the movie handles John Krasinski's character. While he plays the main girl's father, he feels strangely underutilized. The film hints at a tragic backstory that could have fueled a powerful father-daughter relationship. Unfortunately, Krasinski often feels relegated to the sidelines, which weakens the emotional payoff of later scenes. This lack of focus undermines the emotional core of the film and makes certain moments feel unearned. The imaginary friends themselves also feel somewhat underused. Despite a star-studded voice cast including Bradley Cooper, Awkwafina, and Steve Carell as Blue, many of these characters don't get a chance to truly shine. There's one great scene at the aforementioned retirement home, but it feels like a missed opportunity to not explore this fantastical world more deeply. Even Blue, who was prominently featured in the trailers, ends up getting sidelined for much of the movie. The plot structure is perhaps the movie's biggest weakness. The trailers set up an expectation that the story would focus on pairing abandoned imaginary friends with new kids who need them. While this is part of the movie, the narrative takes a significant turn about 60 to 70% of the way through. This new direction is actually more compelling and emotionally resonant than what came before, which makes you wonder why they didn't lead with this stronger storyline from the beginning. It's a shame because when the movie finally gets to this better plot, you can immediately feel how much more emotionally impactful it is. But by then, it feels rushed, as if they're trying to cram too much into the final act. It's frustrating because this could have been the focus of the entire film, potentially making for a much stronger narrative overall. Now don't get me wrong, If isn't a bad movie by any means. It's serviceable and has its charms. It definitely evokes nostalgia for the family films many of us grew up with, like Stuart Little, The Parent Trap, or Spy Kids. Kids will likely enjoy it without noticing the flaws that might bug adult viewers. Let's break it down by category. Action, 2 stars. It's a slower-paced film with not much action, save for that energetic scene in the imaginary friend retirement home. Don't expect high-octane thrills here. Comedy, 2 stars. The humor is innocent and family-friendly, with Ryan Reynolds delivering the best laughs. However, many jokes miss the mark. It's more likely to elicit gentle chuckles than belly laughs. Drama, 2.5 stars. The emotional core of the story takes too long to develop, but once it does, it's quite engaging. If only they had focused on this aspect from the beginning. Parental guidance, no stars needed. It's completely family-friendly with nothing to worry about. Parents can feel safe bringing children of any age to this film. Suspense, 2 stars. The predictable reveal and gentle nature of the story mean there's not much tension. It's not trying to be a nail-biter, but even by family film standards, it's pretty low-key. If the trailers really grabbed you and you're excited about the concept, you'll probably enjoy seeing IF in theaters. The visuals and some of the more whimsical scenes would benefit from the big screen experience. However, if you're on the fence, it might be better to wait for a home rental. That way, you can enjoy it in a more relaxed setting and maybe even use it as a jumping-off point for discussions about imagination and growing up with younger viewers. It's worth noting that my opinion seems to be in the minority here. Many viewers are coming out of it deeply moved and emotional. While it didn't quite hit me the same way, that doesn't mean it won't resonate with you. In conclusion, IF is a mixed bag. It has heart, some genuine laughs, and moments of whimsical charm. However, it also suffers from pacing issues, underutilized characters, and a plot that takes too long to find its footing. It's a film that will likely enchant younger viewers while leaving adults with a sense of, it could have been more. The movie touches on some interesting themes about the power of imagination, the importance of connection, and the challenges of growing up. When it hits these notes, it can be quite effective. However, it often feels like it's just scratching the surface of these ideas rather than exploring them in depth. Krasinski's direction shows promise in the family film genre, but it's clear he's still finding his footing outside of the horror realm. There are moments of visual flair and emotional resonance that hint at what could have been if the script had been tighter and more focused. Despite its flaws, there's still something charming about IF. It's a reminder of the power of imagination and the importance of holding on to that childlike wonder, even as we grow older. In a cynical world, there's value in a film that encourages us to believe in the unseen and to cherish the connections we make, both real and imaginary. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out and ensures you don't miss any future reviews. And hey, why not turn on those notifications? That way, you'll be the first to know when we post new content. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the most real things in the world are the ones we can't see.